Hernan Crespo, Didier Drogba, Nicolas Anelka, Diego Costa. Chelsea are synonymous with fantastic strikers, but this current crop is, well, disappointing. They either don't play as a striker or shouldn't play as a striker, yet managers continuously get them to do it. They have fallen out of form and perhaps won't ever get back to their very best. They need to be moved on. Or perhaps they just don't want to be there entirely. So today, my friends, we have some work on our hands. Today we're going to be finding Chelsea's next striker, and to do that we're going to be going through 5 players that could really improve them. Please like the video and subscribe, it really would mean a lot to me. But now, let's go through 5 strikers that could improve Chelsea. Up first is KOLO MUANI, a French striker who currently is applying his trade at Eintracht Frankfurt. He is 24 years old. He has currently 36 goal contributions in 42 games in all competitions. That's 21 goals and 15 assists, which isn't very bad at all considering his age, considering the team that he's playing for. And if you look at some of these stats, yes, the non-penalty goals and XG isn't great, but the general all-round play that he's got is very impressive. He's got a contract until 2027, and considering this is dubbed his breakout season, it might be difficult to get him out of Frankfurt. But in comparison to some of the other strikers, he has the potential, he has the ability to really go and kick it on to the next level. And it might be someone that Mauricio Pochettino might look as a bit of a project. Someone to come in, still get some goals, but also find that improvement that he likes to look for in certain players. KOLO MUANI, I think, is definitely one to look out for. Ivan Toney is one of the best strikers in the Premier League this season, in my opinion. He's 27 years old, he's hitting his prime. He's got a contract until 2025, which might make negotiation for the player that little bit easier. 20 goals and 4 assists in 33 games in the Premier League this season is pretty sensational, especially when you're talking about him playing for a team like Brentford, who don't necessarily create all too many chances. And when you're considering his defensive work as well, with his interceptions, with his clearances, his aerial duels won, he's a big, physical, powerful player who's able to get on and off the ball. He's just pretty much got everything. The one problem is his issue with certain rules that he may or may not have broken. We are not certain about that yet, but it remains to be seen what's going on with that. If he's cleared of all that, I think he's ready for that next step. I think he's ready for that next level. No disrespect to Brentford, but I think that Chelsea should be on that list of clubs that he could be looking at to take that next step, especially with a manager like Mauricio Pochettino, who might be able to mould him into something a little bit more. Ivan Toney is definitely one that should be on Chelsea's radar. And up next we have Gonçalo Ramos from Benfica, Portuguese international, 21 years old. You might be thinking he's a bit too young, but I'm not so sure. He's got some serious quality, so bear with me. 17 goals and 6 assists in 27 games in Liga Portugal, 23 goal contributions that means, and he's got a ridiculous set of stats for his age. He's got a non-penalty XG of 0.81 per 90. That means that he's scoring nearly once every game, which is madness. He is in the 99th percentile against players in his position in Europe's top 5 leagues, which is sensational when you think that he is 21 years old. I'll repeat that, 21 years old, just crazy. He's got a contract until 2026, which is going to make negotiation that little bit more difficult. He is going to be pricey. That being said, Benfica might be willing to do deals, and we know how they dealt with Chelsea last time. It wasn't necessarily harmonious, was it? But Chelsea have had previous with them, so perhaps they could go back to the table. He's definitely a player that I think Mauricio Pochettino, if he were to come into the side, would be able to mould and get better. Think of another Harry Kane that he can just mould into a certain player. I just think it would make sense. It's a good fit. Might be a little bit too young for the real profile of player that Chelsea are going for, but he's definitely one to watch, and considering the age of talent that Chelsea are bringing in, 21 years old is actually quite old when you consider the profile of player they've been looking at. Gonçalo Ramos is definitely one to watch out for. Why would you take a risk on signing the next Harry Kane when you could just go and sign Harry Kane? It's a bit of a long one, yes, because of the Tottenham-Chelsea connection and the fact that Mauricio Pochettino might be able to open up his arms, but I think it kind of makes sense. I think he might extend an olive branch out to Harry Kane to try and get him to win some silverware for his career. We know there is still a good relationship between the two of them, and we also know how much Kane respects what Pochettino did at Tottenham. 29 years old means he hasn't hit that 30 mark yet, and he's still in his prime. And when you look over the stats on the right-hand side, there is so much green there. So much green. He's a quality striker. He's probably one of the top 3 strikers in the league. And the fact that he's got 26 goals and 3 assists in the Premier League this season in a terrible Tottenham team, which has literally imploded under the guidance of Antonio Conte. It is just staggering that he's still hitting these numbers. Imagine what he could do in a fully functional Chelsea side with Mauricio Pochettino at the helm. Let your mind wander. His contract is up in 2024, which means that negotiations with Daniel Levy should be a little bit easier. If he wants to get any money for him at all, perhaps he will let Kane leave on a free, but he's a businessman. I can't see him doing that. It's unlikely, yes, I know, but he would definitely solve that Chelsea striking problem. Last but certainly not least, we have the player that is on everyone's minds at the moment, especially when you're talking about a striker, and that is Victor Osimhen. He's an absolute monster when it comes to playing. 24 years old in Serie A, playing for Napoli. They've just won the title, and it's his goals that have fired them there. 23 goals and 5 assists in Serie A this season after 28 games. That's 28 goal contributions in 28 matches. And when you have a look at some of his statistics, it's just madness. He's in the 98th percentile for non-penalty XG, and he's in the 99th percentile for non-penalty goals with 0.9 per 90. That's nearly guaranteed a goal a game. It's absolutely staggering, and considering the fact that he's 24, he's arguably not hit his peak yet. He's physically built to be able to play in the Premier League, and I think it's not going to be too long before we see him there. Napoli are going to dig their heels in, yes, and I know they don't want to let him go, but if there was ever a club to get him out of Italy and through into the Premier League, it could be Chelsea. As a thank you for sticking around and watching this far, let's do one more. And also, on this channel, we like to go one step beyond. So, Sadio Mane, the Bayern Munich forward, has fallen into favour with Thomas Tuchel after some serious incidents had happened with certain teammates. And when you look at it, he might not be all too happy in Bayern Munich, and Thomas Tuchel might be looking to send him off elsewhere. And Chelsea could be that destination. At 31 years old, he is still playing very, very good, as you can see by the statistics on the right-hand side. 11 goal contributions in 23 games isn't necessarily too amazing. However, if Chelsea were looking to have investment in other areas of their squad rather than a striker, or perhaps they aren't able to get their targets this season or in the summer, Sadio Mane might be a really good stopgap. He knows how the game is played, he's still extremely fit, and if you look at some of these stats, they are just incredible. He's got a contract until 2025, but I think if he is okay with leaving and Bayern Munich wants him off the books, I don't see a problem with making that transfer. I'm not saying it's a done deal, I'm not saying that it's something that Chelsea should actively pursue, but if the opportunity were to arise, it would be a decent option. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave the video with a like and subscribe if you haven't for more content like this coming very soon. Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as well on who you would have as Chelsea's striker. Is it one of the people that I have on the list, or is it someone else? If it is, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and why. I would love to hear from you, so please do get in touch. But that's it from me for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care of yourselves and bye-bye.